Alright guys, what is up? It's your boy or Revelation Gaming, as you know me, back again here today with a different type of video for you guys. And it's not going to be any video, it's going to be a video talking about, can I survive a Pokemon Mega Light Platinum Nuzlocke? Now if you guys want to know specifics about all the rules that I'm going to be using for this run, it will go ahead be down in the description below, so go ahead and go check that out if you want specifics on how the rules are. But I'm going to go ahead here and explain just a little bit of what the rules are going to be. So obviously this is going to be a normal Nuzlocke run. I can only catch one Pokemon per route. Of course my Pokemon dies, I die forever. And yeah, basically, you know, just the normal stuff going forward. Now this is Pokemon Mega Light Platinum, which is a slightly harder version of Light Platinum, also adding in Mega Evolution Pokemon that I can use as well as other trainers can use. So that also adds some just difficulty to it as well, just to add on to my suffering for you guys. Now, I'm going to also go ahead and explain here a little bit how I'm going to be breaking this video off into sections. So I'm going to have a section talking about my run, because I know it's going to be a long video. But I'm going to have a section talking about my run. I'm also going to have a section talking about the problems that I had going through, that you guys, if you guys do end up playing this game and have to go through the problems that I faced that you could probably avoid. And I'm going to be giving a slight summary of how I felt about this game and if it was really hard or not. So yeah, timestamps will be in the description below, so you guys can also go down there if you guys just want to see certain things and then leave. Completely understandable, because this is a long video. But yeah, they're going to be down in the description below, so go ahead yet again, check that description for that as well, because I'm going to be sectioning this video off into those sections. So yeah, this is going to go ahead be my run. I'm going to start off with that section of the video. Hope you all really enjoy. Remember, subscribe to the channel. I'm really trying to get to 500 subscribers before August. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys can go ahead and do that. Also, sorry if you guys hear thunder in the background. It is currently raining, but I'm going to do my best to bring this video to you guys now. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on ahead, hop right on into how my run with Pokemon Light Mega Platinum went. Alright guys, let's do this. Light Mega Platinum went. Go ahead here, start off in the main room after we have that dream with Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, and Arceus, and we meet our mom, who tells us that the Professor Jasmine has been looking for us. And of course, I had to put in the time. After that, she basically just says, hey, go find Jasmine, and I'm like, okay. So I go ahead and leave, and then I end up meeting an interesting trainer along the way. Now this trainer right here, his name is Corey, who is currently the champion of the current region that I'm actually living in. So yeah, he goes ahead, tells us that the professor was looking for us as well. We end up flying on his Salamence, and we fly over to the next town that was located, which is Central City. After that, we go ahead and meet up with Professor Jasmine to actually go ahead and talk with, as well, the world Pokemon champion, Ash Ketchum, who we end up reading this tablet that talks about the startion of the universe, and then we end up destroying it. After that, we end up getting attacked by Team Steam, of course, which is the evil team for this game, and we go ahead and I can select my starter Pokemon. Now, I have the choice between Generation 1 starters, which was really interesting. And for this run, I decided to go ahead and just pick Charmander, because Charmander has a huge and a great matchup against the gym leaders coming up, and he doesn't do too bad against the evil team as well. So I thought, hey, gotta go ahead and get a really good fire type, and I think Charmander is going to be the one for this run. So after that, we go ahead and get attacked, of course, and this guy's using a level 2 Poochyena. Nothing too serious happens here. Go ahead, take him out very, very quickly, just like that. Didn't take much time at all, gained 15 experience, which wasn't a lot. And yeah, we go ahead, beat him, and now he's put us on Team Steam's hit list, which is kind of cool, because I guess the evil team is kind of more deep anyway. But anyway, after that, basically, Professor Jasmine walks over and tells us that, hey, thank you for saving me, and that I can keep the Pokemon that she gave to me, of course. And then after that, we go ahead and travel back to her lab back in Yellowtown. Now, after that, she goes ahead and tells me that she's been looking for Professor Oak. So I have to go out and go find Professor Oak, which is really cool. I mean, Professor Oak's in this game, so I was like, all right, let's go do it. So after that, I ended up exploring the first city, and I actually kept this in the video because you guys really need to explore the city, because there's a bunch of stuff you can get here, like a Thunderstone, Max Potion. You can just learn a lot, too, about the world and stuff. And then this first city is just super helpful, so definitely check out the first city a lot. After that, I go ahead here and look at my Charmander, who, you know, was not looking too great, was looking alright. High special attack, high speed, was looking pretty nice, but was still alright. He was also holding a Moo Moo Milk, which was not bad at all. So I said, hey, that's a healing item that can come in handy later. And you know, Scratch and Growl with a fire typing. So went ahead here, went over to Route 401 and decided right off the bat, hey, Charmander didn't get a level from that, so let me go ahead and start grinding. So I decided to go ahead and start grinding on some of the wild Pokemon, and as well as these trainers, just so I could see like what would be available in the area, what levels would I have to face, what would I really have to do before getting into this game, because I wanted to go in prepared. So after that, I went ahead, made it through the route, and went to Central City. After that, I ended up meeting this trainer here who actually ends up gifting me a static encounter, which would be a Growlithe, which was really cool, because I went ahead and just was like, hey, Growlithe, go ahead, add that to the squad, that's power. So after that, we head over to Marnfee Lake, which I decided to try to go over some stuff, but then I end up finding Professor Oak and another trainer here, who are actually attacked by a bunch of dancing Feebas, which is kind of interesting. So the trainer on the left actually ends up beating one of them, and then I have to go ahead and save Professor Oak, so I go ahead and have a battle with a Feebas. Of course, it's a Feebas, so I killed it really easily, and after that we go ahead and head back to Yellow Town to meet up with Professor Jasmine, which was really cool. So we ended up going back and meeting with Professor Jasmine, and she ends up telling Professor Oak about the tablet that we found in Central City before we destroyed it, and how, of course, also that. So he ends up telling me where he's going to go, and she basically tells me, hey, go fight all the gym leaders, and gives me the pokeballs, so now my Nuzlocke run has officially started. So, at the top of her house as well, there's another stat encounter I can get right off the bat, which is going to be an Ellie Kid, which is really cool. Unfortunately, I cannot nickname him, but I can do that later. After that, I go ahead, head back on over to Marnfee Lake to go ahead and get my first encounter in the grass, which I really wanted to see what my first encounter was going to be, because I really was hoping it was power. And sure enough, it was a weird mon. A mon I haven't really used too much, even when I did a black and white cage lock, but it was a Pidove. And so I was really wondering if I could catch this before I couldn't kill it, or would this thing really even come in handy, because I really didn't know how good Pidove was at the time. And I'm going to be honest, guys, like, after I caught this Pidove, it kind of came through a little bit. So, yeah. But after that, Charmander goes ahead and evolves because he levels up to 16, because grinding him took, like, no time at all. And, yeah, we went ahead and got a Charmeleon, which is great, because I really needed the power added to the team, and I really thought he would help. So after that, I go ahead and head in the radio tower, talk to a couple of people. They don't really say anything too big, but I end up going up and meeting with Professor Oak, who ends up telling me the other trainer's name is Kenta. And after he tells me that his name is Kenta, he goes ahead and decides to give me a national dex, which is really cool. Not a regular Pokédex, but he gives me a national dex. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. And I got to also hear a little bit about Kenta, which was another thing cool. So he just kind of walked off and didn't do anything after that. But after that, I talked to Professor Oak again, and bam, he actually let me choose yet again another stat encounter, which was one of the 3 Johto starters. Now, of course, I had a hard decision here because I had to really see like what was going to be good for the team later on, because this is a Nuzlocke. So I was like, let's go ahead and pick Totodile. I don't really know too many really strong water types, and he'll come in handy really good later on. So I said, hey, why not? After that, head over to Route 402, and I actually ended up finding yet again another Growlithe. But of course, because you guys saw in the rules, I have to catch any Pokemon. Even if it's the same species in this run, I'm catching the same Pokemon. So we have another Growlithe. So it was kind of cool, but it was kind of whatever at the same time. So I was like, alright, this thing could be power, because the last one I had actually had War of Time, which this one has as well, which was Dialga's special move, which was really cool and kind of unique about these Pokemon. So I was really happy to have him on the team yet again. So I went ahead, started grinding a little bit, trying to get him up a lot, and I was doing pretty good at first. I was doing really well until I decided to go ahead and hop in a battle with this Krogunk, which, yeah, hit me with Mud Slap and ended up killing my first Growlithe. And I was super disappointed because I was just grinding this thing and he died. So I head over to Route 402 after that, and I end up talking and meeting up with this weird trainer who ends up seeing a Pichu drowning. I go ahead, try to find it, catch it, but he ends up actually attacking me, obviously. So I tried to catch this thing, but accidentally killed it, but I was like, oh well, whatever, it was Pichu, it wouldn't have been great anyway. Anyway, so the trainer tells me his name is Diamond and he's from the Sinnoh region as well, and he ends up challenging me to a battle because he is also a rookie fighting in the Zera region Pokemon League, which is kind of cool. And his team was unique. I was really excited to see him as well because obviously he's the Diamond and Pearl Gen 4 main protagonist, and his team was a Pidgey and Ellie Kid, and I believe he also had a Turtwig or something along those lines. Charmander, actually. So really cool guy. Ended up beating him, he ended up moving on. Then I found another trainer, which I actually didn't remember finding too early on in the game, but I actually did. And of course, it was none other than the Pokemon trainer himself, Red, which was really something really cool. I remember meeting him in this game, but I did not realize that you actually met him this early. But he actually knows, obviously, Professor Jasmine as well as Professor Oak, and he ends up teaching us all about Headbutt and how you can use that to get other wild Pokemon. And yeah, he ends up using it and trying to just show us the technique, and then he gives us the TM, obviously. So after that, he basically just gives a little bit of dialogue, and then he walks off with his Krogunk. Cool, whatever. So after that, I end up meeting up with a trainer who starts talking about some Combi, and her name is actually Jessica, and she's the first gym leader who's actually telling me about Combi who have been attacking people in the forest that is currently coming up. Now, she explains all this to me, and I'm really kind of interested in this story, and she uses her Vespiquen to cut through these trees and walk away, and I'm just kind of like, whatever, I guess. And, you know, Combi attack people, they're Combi, they're not too strong, right? So I go into Norwoods, and I end up meeting Kenta again, and we actually battle this time, which is the first battle, and his team, yet again, is also very unique. A lot of Gen 4 Mons have been used on a lot of these rival teams, which I really, really like. But also just in general, his team was really cool. Magby obviously was also a super sick encounter, and his starter Pokemon was Totodile, which was kind of unique. But his team didn't really pose much of a threat, and I was kind of easily able to just sweep through him, which is Elekid. So yeah, after that battle, didn't really take much. He just kind of left and just went on with his day. So after that, I ended up fighting into these Combi, and they looked really angry, and so they kind of attacked me, but kind of didn't, and so I just kind of left. So yeah, that kind of went like that, I guess. After that, I ended up going into Inor City, where she actually shows me that Combi have now invaded Inor City, and the civilians have locked themselves inside, which was, you know, a situation, obviously. And then she kind of explains how she's going to go back in the woods, figure out what was wrong with the Combi, she's going to fix the problem. So yeah. After that, I head back into Inor Woods to also see what's going on with these Combi, and I end up fighting, of course, none other than Team Steam themselves. And obviously, I had to go through a couple of grunts that are just walking around, I guess, terrorizing Combi. And then I end up fighting this admin here who is actually named Sheila, who's an admin of Team Steam, who actually ends up fighting with a Drift Blimp on her team, and she actually ends up taking out Vespiquen, which was something kind of cool. And she was actually going to finish the gym leader until I stepped in and actually saved her, which kind of shows some stuff. And then this is when we have the first battle with the first Team Steam admin, which is obviously going to be Sheila. And yeah, this battle didn't really take much either. I had basically grinded my Pokemon up to be about the same level as hers until she came out with this Mega Aggron, which is already starting to show the level of difficulty that this game really has. Luckily for me, though, I think it was too low of a level to actually know anything, so it only knew Rest, I believe. It might have used, like, Rest and, like, Tackle or something. So that was really all it had, so it kept healing, and I was just praying that Totodile was going to be able to take this thing out, because this thing could have seriously messed me up if I had not done anything about it, or if I really didn't have a Water type. I think this thing could have seriously messed me up. But at the same time, I don't know. So far, all I saw it use was Rest, and as well as, besides Rest, it only used, I believe, Tackle or Headbutt or something like that. So it didn't really take too long for me to take it out, but it was a beefy mon, and I was super scared of this thing when I saw it come out, and I really didn't know what to expect at first, but I did end up taking it out, obviously, with Totodile, who's now grew to level 17. And yeah, so basically after that, she sends out her last Pokemon, which is going to be Glameow, and, you know, I kind of just, after that, just sort of sweep through the rest of her team, and it didn't really take too long. I'm gonna be honest, it was just 2 quick switch in, and it's just bam, she's just kind of finished. And yeah, of course, Totodile evolved after that, obviously, because he got past level 16, and now I have a Croconaut added to the team, which is really, really cool, because that's more power alongside Charmeleon that I now have on the team. So Croconaut and Charmeleon looking great. After that, basically, she ends up running off because she's defeated, and the Combi leave in North City, so I can now challenge the gym leader, which doesn't take too long. After that, actually, here's a little hint. I actually found a Mega Stone randomly in the corner. It was kind of weird. It was just randomly there, but I said, hey, why not? Went ahead, picked it up, and yeah, it was a Mega Stone. I guess I could use this whenever Charmander fully evolves, which is going to be great. Or just one of my other Pokemon, I guess, that can also Mega Evolve. So after that, I end up going in this also random place again, and I end up meeting this scientist who actually gives me the choice, yet again, of 3 rare static Pokemon, which are going to be Hoenn starters. Now, for this run, I was also thinking, what could be really good? Maybe I should pick up, as well as maybe I should pick up Mudkip, because Mudkip's dual typing would be really helpful, or maybe even Torchic, because Torchic's dual typing would be really helpful. But I decided, hey, I don't have a grass type yet, so why not go ahead and pick my favorite of the 3? And so I decided, like, hey, why not? Let me just go ahead. I already know which one's probably going to be best for later on. And yeah, let me go ahead and just grab Trico. So I went ahead, grabbed Trico, slapped him on the squad. I was super excited about that. I was like, hey, Sceptile's going to be lit. If I can also get a Mega Sceptile, that'd be really cool. And then after that, I ended up getting another encounter on another route, but I ended up killing it, so that's kind of whatever. But Zent did actually evolve, which was really, 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 really sick. So Zent evolved in the Tranquil, and then I also evolved the Wurmple that I actually had caught the first route, but I didn't show, unfortunately. I trained up and grinded to a Dustox. So yeah, that was kind of how that went, which was cool until I ran to the gym, and I ended up running into Red, who had also got his first Zeri League badge here in our city, obviously. And of course, if we run into a rival, we're gonna have to battle. So without like anything, he just kind of challenges me randomly, I guess. And yeah, I ended up getting into a battle with Red, which was really cool. Battle with Red this early on, I was like, wow, okay, let's see what he has. So of course he has his classic Pikachu. And yeah, it just didn't really take me too long after that to just kind of dismantle his whole entire team because, well, he only had 3 Pokemon and they were good Pokemon, they just weren't good against my team. So I just kind of swept him. So yeah, that didn't really take too long. But he did give me HM1, which is Cut, which I can only use after I beat the gym. So I have to beat the gym first, but once I beat that gym, I can finally be able to use Cut. So I go in the gym, and I just kind of look around a little bit at first, but then I just decide, hey, this is a bug type gym. I could just sweep this with Tranquil and Charmeleon. That's all I need. So I end up going through, just destroying every trainer with like little to no effort, realistically. It was really little to no effort. And just went ahead, met up with Jessica, ended up battling her just to see what she had and really see if her team was going to be a problem or not. So, yeah, I just kind of swept with Charmeleon. Did not really take too long. This Vespiquen was a little bit bulky. That was definitely a problem, but definitely just swept her, got the plain badge, and she ended up giving me the HM for Fury Cutter, which was, or Toxic, sorry. Toxic. I had to remember this run a little bit better. But she ended up giving me the TM for Toxic. So after that, I ended up meeting up with this guy. He gives me a pair of running shoes. Yet again, not too bad. Ends up just giving me a pair of running shoes. And he tells me that the next gym is going to be a grass type gym, so I should use a fire type Pokemon. Like I said, Charmander comes in really helpful with the gym leaders. So I went ahead and just head on Route 404. Didn't take me too long. Went ahead and found this max potion over here as well, so make sure to grab that. It's definitely a big thing. And yeah, so after I went ahead and went on Route 404, I ended up actually running into 2 more trainers, which were 2 trainers I didn't really expect to run into, but they were kind of just randomly there. So I guess why not? The 2 of them were also having a battle at the time. It was a Krogunk versus a Baneri. I guess you can already kind of tell which one was going to win this just based off of typing. And so, yeah, I ended up meeting up with these 2 trainers, and the first kid's name is Lunix, who is the guy, and he's from the Lauren region, which is, yet again, really cool just to see. And it's pretty close to Zeri, which was also nice to finding out. He was also a rookie trainer, as well as his neighbor, Selena, which was yet again cool, I guess. I was really just kind of weird when they were in the game, but he randomly challenged me to a battle, and I was just like, alright, why not, I guess. Let's just have a battle. Let's do it. And he ended up leading off with Chimchar, which was really cool. But in the end, I don't really remember this battle being a problem. Yeah, just super easy, clean sweep with my team, because my team is just so good at this point. Really just took nothing to really beat this man. Just type advantages and just, yeah. So they kind of both just go their separate ways. Going on in the next route, and I actually end up getting an Oddish as an encounter, which is really cool. So I thought, Oddish, yay, another grass type, already a Shriek on the team right now, but he'll be good for a backup pair, I guess, or type. I really thought he'd be cool for that, so I was like, hey, why not? Let's go ahead, grab an Oddish, slap him on the team. Won't be too bad. Hey, so we went ahead, threw an Ultra Ball here, and bam, just like that, we caught him. Now, we headed right on over to Route 405 afterwards, and I ended up meeting up with Kenta again, having another battle with Kenta, which did not take too long. Yet again, type advantage, really good in this game, just absolutely just destroys. Now, this Pichu actually was kind of doing something, but it didn't take me too long yet again, just to whip through this guy's team. And I ended up getting actually Eevee as an encounter on Route 405, which was super dope. I was super happy with Eevee, because I was like, Eevee could evolve into so many things. Whatever typing I need on my team, that's been up to Gen 5, so I couldn't get a Sylveon, obviously, but I could obviously get every other typing, so I was like, this is going to work out great. This is just going to be freaking incredible. So I went ahead, tried to catch the Eevee here, and bam, just like that, ended up catching it. So that was really cool, because that was probably one of the rarest encounters I could have gotten. After that, I ended up using the honey that I bought earlier to wake up a Snorlax and get it as a static encounter, which was also cool, because I was like, hey, Snorlax is bulky, thing's already level 18, isn't too far a level away from my team is currently. So I was like, hey, why not? I might as well be able to throw this thing in the PC and be able to use it later, because it could come in real handy with that bulk and just high attack stat it has. So I was like, hey, why not? Go ahead and chuck the Ultra Ball. And this man would not stay in any of these balls. I was just chucking and chucking and chucking and chucking and chucking. And I really was just trying to figure out, like, hey, what can I do to weaken this man down? I had nothing. So I just kept chucking balls. And this man just kept breaking out and just kept breaking out. I really didn't think at first, like, hey, I was going to catch this. And I was really surprised at the time. So literally, on the last ball, I decided, hey, why not? Let's just do it. bam, just like that, he got caught in the last Pokeball, which was super lucky. Also on the ranch, I went ahead and talked to this trainer here that was also on the route, and he ended up giving me a Static Miltank. So Static Miltank was also another Pokemon I could put in the PC and was really good for the team. After that, I went ahead and went to Pantom Town, which was a small town there, and I ended up meeting up with Selena. So Selena also had a battle with me as well, but she wasn't really a challenge, just another rival battle I guess they threw in there because they were like, hey, you need it to level up or something. I don't know. At the point, I was just trying to train up my team, so battling her didn't really take much, and her team wasn't really good, so it didn't really take me too long to beat her. After that, I went ahead and went right on to Route 406 here, which is a swamp type area, and I ended up meeting up with Diamond, who also, yet again, had to have a battle with me for no reason. It was really weird, I guess, but alright. I went ahead and just kind of swept through his team as well. His team was unique, but wasn't very good, I would say. He had a lot of great Mons, but they just weren't there yet. You know, they didn't have the full ability. Now, he also did have a Tranquil, which was kind of interesting, but it wasn't anything that Ellie Kid quickly took it out. And then, obviously, you know, he's going to finish it off here with his own Ellie Kid, so I had to switch out and just use Charmeleon, and just quickly swept through his Ellie Kid like it was kind of just like paper. I don't know. Now, that Thunder Punch actually was doing some decent damage, so that was kind of surprising. But after that, basically, he runs off to get the second gym, and I evolved Trico into Grovyle because he actually leveled up from that battle, which was really great. So after that, I ended up going to the next city, and we ended up meeting 2 more members of Team Steam, who I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, at the time, like, who are these people? What do they have? Because they already know Sheila, apparently. And it ends up being Esmeralda City. So I end up meeting Ash Ketchum and Red here, and they both go ahead and decide, hey, we're both going to go take on Team Steam. You sneak into their base, and you go take out the, I guess, leader. So he ends up giving me a Team Steam uniform. I end up using that to sneak into the building, as also he uses their Gyarados to put out the fire, and I just put on the Team Steam universe, sneak into the building, and then start taking on Team Steam grunts. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting much here. I was expecting a bunch of grunts that I can easily just grind through, just get through, and you know, really no problem at all. I was thinking, wow, everything's perfect, right? Until I ran into this trainer here, alright? I believe everything was going great, and I got poisoned. So I wasn't too happy about that, right? And I'm just battling this guy, use water gun, I'm like, okay. And I decided to switch into Grovyle, because he sends out a Baltoy. Now, Baltoy's ground type, I believe. I tried to use an Absorb on him, you know, get my HP back. Alright, super effective, you know. And then he self-destructs. And he kills my Grovyle, which was not something I was expecting at all. And really hurt. I was able to sweep the last of his team, and I was so caught up, I didn't even realize his last Pokemon was Sandile, so I sent out Ellie Kid. But I was just so worried at the time about what I was going to do now that I had lost Trico. But after that, I went in the other room, and I ended up finding, yet again, another stat encounter, which is going to be a Zora. So, Zora was kind of an interesting Pokemon to find here, but hey, it's a Zora, so why not? After that, I ended up meeting up with Sheila again, and of course, I was trying to ruin her plans, and I ended up finding these guys are called Marina and Terra, so of course, I had to battle Sheila to be able to get to them, so I guess there's that. So, she ends up having, yet again, not too well of a team, you know, not too great of a team, you know, easily I'm able to just kind of sweep through after a couple of turns. Now, this Perugly did put me to sleep a couple times, which is kind of annoying. But ended up, she also had a Mega Blastoise, but yet again, didn't take too much to beat that, obviously. So they ended up finding the red and blue orb, and they ended up running off with them, which is something great. And I ended up protecting Esmeralda City and meeting up with this other person who's supposed to be Professor Rowan. It was kind of just like a generic dude. I don't know what's going on with that, really. But yeah. So anyway, after that, I ended up meeting also this trainer here who asks if I have 6 Pokemon, and he ends up giving me an Eevee egg. And I already have an Eevee, so that didn't really take much. After that, I ended up having a conversation with Ash and Red and how they're going to top Team Steam, which is kind of weird. And I just ended up battling the gym leader after this, of course, who has yet again Grass-type Pokemon. So obviously, I was just going to be like, hey, you know, let's just sweep this place, right? Like, all of our Pokemon aren't really doing anything against Flamethrower. So, yeah, I just kind of just swept. Now, this Jumpluff was really annoying. It kept trying to stall me. I do remember that a lot. It was super bad. But after that, I basically ended up evolving Oddish into a Gloom, because I slapped Oddish on the team after Trico had died. Because, hey, that backup grass type was great. So we ended up getting a Gloom, and that was really cool, I guess. So, yeah, power, I guess? Anyway, after that, she ended up giving me the second badge, which was going to be the green badge. and she also ends up giving me the TM for Lava Surf, which is kind of weird to get it from a Grass-type gym leader, but alrighty then. And yeah, so moving on, I ended up going to Route 407, which was super dope, and I ended up finding Machop. It doesn't really come in too much handy later on in the run, but is alrighty. It's alright, I guess. It was just kind of an encounter I got, so I was like, whatever, fighting type. Alright, so I ended up meeting at Brambroach Town, which didn't take me too long. Ended up getting an Absol here as an encounter. So yeah, I was super hype about that, and you know, I was really wondering if I was going to catch it at first, because I didn't really have that many balls. So I decided to go ahead and try to just static it, I guess, try to get it with that, but didn't really end up doing it. Ended up using, basically, I believe, all of my pokeballs before I was finally able to catch this thing. Because I believe I did catch it, yeah, in a dive ball, which didn't take too long. After that, I ended up having a battle with Red again in the same exact town. So yeah, ended up just kind of sweeping his team as well, just using the team I had, because at this point, leveling was really nothing for most of my Pokemon, to be honest. It really didn't take much for any of them to do, like, anything. I just really didn't have to worry about much, like, at all. So yeah, I just kind of easily slept through his team. But he did have Lucario this time, which was kind of cool. He really leveled up real fast. But yeah, so he ended up leaving, you know, going on his way, and I ended up going to Route 408. And then right to Seaport City, because Route 408 didn't really have any encounters that I could get. So after that, I ended up finding a trainer who actually ends up giving me a Static Lapras. Yet again, another Static Pokemon to add in case I need an extra Water type, in case Croconaw goes down. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool too, I guess. And then after that, I ended up meeting Steven Stone from the Hoenn region, who's actually the Hoenn region champion, who got help from Ash. And of course, I also ended up meeting Lucas, which is the Water type gym leader, who is currently in the city that I am currently in. Well, he's a gym leader of the city that I'm currently in. So after that, they basically tell me, hey, Team Steam's on a whole rampage on another island. You need to go ahead and go stop them. So I ended up racking up here in the store on Hyper Potions just in case I need it. And then I went ahead and grinded a little bit and evolved Elekid into Electabuzz, which was really cool. And then I also evolved Croconaw into Feraligatr because, well, I grinded, so why not? And then I went ahead and just head on over to Imatari Island. So after Imatari Island, I just kind of was looking around to see if there was any hidden items, anything going on, and there wasn't. So there was just a bunch of Team Steam grunts, I guess. So yeah, just kind of easily just kind of swept through them with the rest of my team. Didn't really take too long to really do that, obviously. They're Team Steam grunts. And their levels were starting to get a little bit high, so I was getting a little bit worried, especially since I was going to have to go up against an admin again. But I was just kind of like, whatever, you know, it's not going to be too hard. So I just went ahead here, just took out all the Team Steam grunts until this happened, where I realized that they were also fighting and also ended up using the Sacred Orbs, which is the blue and red orb, to end up waking up Kyogre and Groudon, which was, well, something to say the least, I guess you could say. But after that, I ended up beating all of them and moving on to obviously fight Sheila, who is the admin I've fought already twice at this point. And, you know, her team, yet again, really wasn't anything super special. Just kind of the normal thing, Haunter, Perugly, and then she ended up switching in her last Pokemon, which is going to be Mega Blastoise, which I can easily just take out with Elekid after my grinding session. So after that, I would go ahead, talk to Lucas, and then I want to go ahead, talk to Steven, just to see what was going on with them. They're going to go ahead and fight these Team Steam grunts. And so at this point, I have to go ahead and fight Marina and Terra. So yeah, this was already a really scary battle that I was really kind of scared to go into and really wasn't really prepared to fight. But I said, hey, why not? And they ended up leading off, and they kind of both fought together as one, I guess. So they lead off with a level 32 Blastoise, which is already higher than my Elekid, which was kind of worrisome. And then Rhydon, which was super scary. Yet again, almost KO'd Vileplume there. And then also Electros, obviously, was super scary, but I ended up taking out Charmeleon and beating the two of them. So after that, we ended up having a cutscene with Groudon and Kyogre, who were about to fight each other because Groudon's creating earthquakes and Kyogre's making it rain like hell for some reason. I don't really know, I guess. Why not? But then Arceus shows up and tells him, hey, stop messing around, and I end up waking back in this weird room, I guess, and basically Steven tells me, hey, red orb and blue orbs are absorbed into the island, and Team Steam ran off, and yeah, the gym leader's in the lighthouse, so go find him. So basically I end up going in the lighthouse and end up battling through a bunch of trainers to end up making my way all the way up to the top, obviously, you know, classic lighthouse Pokemon type stuff. Really doesn't really, you know, it's not really important. It doesn't take me too long to make it through all of these trainers, but I was just like, hey, they mostly have water types, so why not go ahead and train up my electric type, because that's what I'm going to need for the gym, obviously. So, you know, went ahead, took out all the sailors, made my way all the way up to the top, and then ended up meeting up with Lucas, who, yet again, is the water type gym leader for this town, and he ends up saying like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym now, you can come get my badge, yada yada yada, you know, typical gym leader stuff, nothing really too exciting there. I end up leaving and heading right on into the water gym. After that, they had this little switch puzzle, didn't really take me too long to go through, yet again all the trainers didn't really take me too long to go through, and I just ended up battling Lucas anyway. His team really wasn't exciting or anything really special. I was kind of able to just mash the A button and win, so that really says something, I guess. His best Pokemon, which was Kingdra, obviously, super tough Pokemon. I really didn't know if I was going to be able to beat this thing. I had to heal and do a whole type of strategy because he paralyzed me, and I didn't have any paralyzed heals, but yeah, I beat him. Luckily, he gave me the C badge, he gave me the ability to use Rock Smash out of battle, and just some random TM, probably like Water Pulse or something. After that, I go ahead, head over to Route 409, where I end up meeting this special trainer here, who ends up telling me this weird stuff. And he tells me his name is Thomas, and that he's heading on to Dardusk City, which is the next city I'm going to be heading to, I guess, so that was kind of cool, I guess. And then I meet Kenta again on this route, and we have another battle that was kind of pointless and unnecessary for no reason. But why not, I guess, you know, just why not? Let's have another battle with this guy again that I'm able to easily sweep his team. Now at this point, his team is basically on par with mine, so I do think that I need to grind around this point, and I'm getting close to that, but we end up making our way into National Park, and end up actually getting a Curly here as an encounter. And I just go ahead and send out Electabuzz, because I'm like, hey, Static will come in handy, and just, you know, with Trace being up, it might actually end up helping me a lot more than I think. But yeah, I ended up one-shotting it with Swift, and we didn't catch it. So that kind of sucked, but that's whatever. But after that, Zen evolved, which was really cool. So he evolved into Tranquil, not Tranquil, but Unfezant. He evolved into Unfezant, and yeah, it was a nice power boost, I guess. So that. I ended up heading into Dardusk City after that, and I ended up meeting up with this trainer here, who yet again gives me another static encounter of a Dratini that I gladly slap in the PC because I'm not going to use. And then there's another trainer here who also gave me a Mega Aggron. Why? It was originally a Drifloon, but I guess the game itself changed it to be a Mega Aggron. I don't know why, but hey, why not, I guess. Still Rock type, that's cool. But after that, I decided, hey, time to grind finally. Ended up grinding all of my team members up because I said, hey, gotta get prepared for this gym battle that's coming up. It's really gonna be helpful. It's gonna help me in the long run. Why not go ahead, just get some grinding done, especially on Unfezant because Unfezant was bad. And then I evolved Charmeleon into Charizard, which was really nice, and he ended up learning Wing Attack, which also was going to help further on because all he had at this point was Flamethrower, Ember, Rock Smash, and Smokescreen. So I said, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and get rid of Smokescreen, add that Wing Attack so we get that Flying type bonus, and just, yeah. So basically after that I decided, hey, let's go ahead and take on the gym, and this was the most annoying gym ever. Now, originally there's supposed to be these visible pads in this gym, but for some reason whenever I played this version of the game, there was no pads. So I was just walking around in the dark for hours and hours and hours, at least what felt like hours and hours and hours, until eventually I just kind of wandered into the gym leader. I don't know how that happened either, it just happened. But I ended up finding Thomas, who of course was the gym leader of this town, who's going to be using Ghost, or Dark type, I believe, actually. And, yeah, so he had a Mega Absol, didn't take me too long to take that out. This Miss Magus was causing mega problems. Really scared of this thing. This is where I knew I should have grinded more, but I just didn't. And I was super scared of losing somebody here. And this Gengar just absolutely killed me until he used Destiny Bond. And of course, the one turn I tried to get past this thing using Destiny Bond, I couldn't do it. Used Thunder Punch, it KO'd, and guess what it took with him? Electabuzz. So Electabuzz died as well, so that was not great at all. I was really mad actually, because I was like, this thing was going to be such power. But yeah, Electabuzz died in the battle, unfortunately. This is the first gym battle where I lost a Pokemon, because I just really didn't have anything for Ghost types and Dark types, so it was kind of whatever. I was really wondering what I was going to do at this point, because I was really thinking I was going to lose the lock. Luckily enough, I just sent out Zent, was able to take out the Mega Absol, no problem. And yeah, we moved on, got the Ghost badge, and we were able to continue with the run. So after that, we ended up going into this tower. We ended up meeting none other than Lance himself, the Kanto and Johto champion at one point. And he actually brags about that, actually. And he actually talks about how Team Steam has now invaded the tower. And so of course I have to go in here, and I ended up catching a Ghastly as my encounter, which was super cool because I didn't really expect to have any Pokemon in this place, but hey, there's Pokemon in here, and I ended up getting Ghastly as an encounter, so I said, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and grab that thing. It's a Ghastly, kind of low level, so I'm going to have to grind on it a little bit, but hey, go ahead and slap that in the PC. It's definitely a Pokemon I'd like to add in my team later. End up finding out the Team Steam Grunts yet again are all throughout this place, as well as wild Pokemon, so I had to battle my way through them, which, you know, takes a while. Definitely takes a lot more time than I thought would be necessary for that, but hey, why not? I ended up fighting Sheila again, but this time I think she only has Mega Blastoise, so yeah, I just toxicked and then just blew through it. After that, I ended up finding Lance at the top, of course, who is now having to deal with this person apparently. Her name is Caitlin, and she's actually yet again another member of Team Steam. And yeah, she ends up leading off with the Mega Aggron, which Fraligator can easily put down. And then the rest of her team just kind of, if I remember correctly, just kind of gets blown through just by, I believe, Charizard alone. But I could switch some Pokemon here and do some things, but it really didn't matter in the end. She was just kind of there. Really strong though, 42 yet again. These trainers are all above me in level. Super scary battles that I had to fight. Just really scary. But I ended up getting through her with no problem. And of course, she was like, hey, I'm here to catch Lugia, which was really weird, I guess. Just she wanted to catch Lugia and Ho-Oh, so I was just like, alrighty then. So Lugia ends up showing up, and I was like, alright. But then out of nowhere, Ho-Oh busts through the building as well, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So now the two of them are fighting, which was cool to see. I guess it was cool, kind of weird and unnecessary, but it's whatever, I guess. Lugia and Ho-Oh are fighting. Makes sense. I don't know. But anyway, obviously, you know, it's like Platinum, so Arceus steps in and stops the two. And, of course, after that, Caitlin ends up running away. Lance tells me, hey, he's going to go after Team Steam. And I end up going back to the Pokemon Center to end up healing my team and, you know, figuring out what's up. So after that, I head over to Route 410, and I get Gothita as my encounter here. Which, you know, Gothita, not, in my opinion, not a great mon, but I said, hey, I've never used it before. It could be power that I just don't know about. So I said, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and catch this thing, slap it in the PC. If anything goes wrong with our team, we can go ahead and add this thing, grind this thing, get it up. And yeah, so after that, I head over to Dardusk Woods and end up getting Pinsir as an encounter, which was something, yet again, power. Pinsir's power. So I was really excited to get the thing on the team until I accidentally killed it. But after that, there's this random Bagon thing that goes on with Red after I calm down his Bagon. And he ends up randomly having a battle with me for no reason. He tells me to go calm down his Bagon, I do that, and then he ends up having a battle with me. But he ends up leading with a Mega Charizard Y, which was hecka scary. And Fraligator was at half HP at this point, so I had to go ahead and get a turn to heal, and then switch in because I really wasn't confident in landing a fly. But I easily took that out with just him. And then he also had a Mega Lucario on the team. 2 Megas were on this man's team. And obviously he had Bagon, but I was easily able to take that out. And then he just went on to go fight more tough foes. After that, I ended up going into Enermy Town, which there wasn't really too much important going on here, I guess you could say. Just kind of went here to heal my Pokemon, just kind of have a pit stop between towns and routes, just to kind of, you know, get my bearings a little bit more and get back what I needed. But after that, I went ahead over back to Martinfield Lake on the opposite side, and I ended up meeting this trainer here, who was also a trainer in the Lara region, who also ended up being a gym leader, and was also a fire type user. But after I ended up trying to go in the cave, and then Kenta fights me, and he has a Charizard for some reason, I guess. Now, over his Charmeleon he had earlier, I don't know. He randomly has a Typhlosion as well. I don't know where he got any of these mons from, but hey, I guess that professor dude was just handing Pokemon out anyway. So we end up going into Mount Shiam after that, and I end up meeting this really interesting trainer, probably the best character in the whole entire game, Zero. He starts talking a lot like N, where he just questions everything about the Pokemon world, and he kind of just thinks like, hey, he asked me how do I feel about how I should achieve peace through battling and like tyranny or through normal ideals and things like that. And super interesting character, super great. But at the end of the cave, I end up having yet again another rival fight with Diamond, which was kind of pointless at this point, but why not? Just throw him in there, because yet again, why not? I guess his team was super strong, and I was really scared here. That I was gonna die or not be able to make it through this battle, but luckily enough for me, he ended up being his last Pokemon, ended up being Samurott. It was level 43, he was just on par with me yet again. These trainers are barely above me or just on par with my level, so really scary. I know it's gonna have another grind session pretty soon. But after that, I went ahead, head over to Route 411, and was like, hey, got an Aeron as an encounter. I was really excited to be able to use this thing on the team, because I was like, hey, Aggron's power, so why not? caught it and ended up meeting up with Professor Jasmine. Now, Professor Jasmine actually talks about yet again another tombstone that also talks about the creation of the universe yet again, and how it kind of just leads to all these legendary Pokemon and having them fight against each other, and a lot of stuff about that, real controversy type things, and basically nothing that made too much sense. Now, I don't know where she got Flygon from, but hey, she got Flygon, I guess. And then we head over to GROMENT City, which is the next city up, where obviously Team Steam is attacking the electrical supply system that is going on throughout the city, so of course I have to jump in, and without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, I have to stop them, because I'm a 10-year-old boy who can fight with Pokemon. Yes. But actually I'm getting into this double battle here, and I end up just kind of finding out that she has Mega Blastoise, and I was kind of scared at first because I didn't have Fire anymore, but hey, Feraligatr was easily able to take it out, and then I just Ice Beamed and was able to kill the other one, obviously. But then I had yet again to fight the other Team Steam admin right after I fought Sheila, which was going to be Shirley, and yeah, she really didn't do much either. It was easy clean sleep with Charizard. I was able to use like Lava Surf and some other stuff. Now, she did use Confusion here, which got me in kind of a pinch, but I had a ton of healing items, so I wasn't really too scared about that. And Flamethrower was doing a decent amount of damage, and so I just kept healing and just kept kind of going back and forth in between the battle, and just ended up just beating her. Really didn't take me too long. I was able to use Absol here against Espeon and just cleanly take it out. So after that, I ended up finding out that the black and white stone were actually being held here as well, and I ended up having to just kind of let them walk away with it, I guess, because I couldn't stand there and fight her there. But yeah, so they ended up getting the black and white stone, and I ended up heading into the GROMENT mines. Now, actually here, I ended up finding this trainer here who was actually blowing up rocks to be able to find fossils, and he was none other than the gym leader Atlas himself, who is a ground type user, so that's really cool. After that, I ended up finding a fossil and ended up reviving it, which is obviously a shield fossil, and so after that, I ended up reviving it, and I ended up getting a Shieldon. So I'll go ahead and slap that in the PC. Ground type for backup, nice. So I ended up having to go ahead, battle my way through the gym trainers, and ended up fighting this guy here. Now, he's a ground gym trainer, obviously, so I'm going to be leading off with Feraligatr. And, yeah, it just wasn't that hard either. Water Pulse just kind of won. Now, this Claydol kind of got on my nerves, but it was whatever. Mega Tyranitar took nothing, and I just kind of swept through the rest of his team. He didn't really give me anything important, and so I headed on to Mount Zephyr, where I actually got a Bronzor as an encounter yet again. Not too great of a mon, but I might as well slap it on the team. Encounters on the PC are always great to have in case one of my mons goes down. Definitely. Plus, it's level 32, which is not too far off my level, so yeah. After that, Steven actually ends up beating Terra, and the guards actually end up catching her, Team Steam, which is really cool. And yeah, so he basically tells them, like, hey, the Pokemon Society is going to go ahead and try to hunt Team Steam down and stop them, and he also gives me HMO3 for Surf. So after that, I go ahead and find myself on Route 412, and I end up finding Red yet again after I go ahead and use Cut, and he ends up battling me again for no kind of reason why, I guess. He now has a Shelgon, which is kind of cool. You know, his Bagon finally evolved. And he also has Scyther on the team, which is really cool. He also has Mega Lucario, obviously, but he wasn't packing his Mega Charizard Y, which was kind of weird. But actually, after that, on that route, I actually ended up getting Blitzla as an encounter, which was super nice, because I was like, hey, Electric type really could come in handy later on, so go ahead, catch that, no problem. Then after that, I go ahead and see Lennox, and he asked me if I want to battle, and I say no, and he actually allows me to leave. This was the first optional battle with a rival I actually had, so it was really cool. After that, I ended up fighting Serenity City, and the guards are trying to capture, obviously, the other Team Steam admin here, and obviously they were able to get away because the police are useless, and so basically the Pokemon Society says, hey, we'll catch him eventually. So after that, I ended up finding my way into their power plant, and find out that there's a bunch of scientists and stuff going in here that are just kind of doing their own thing, I guess. But then I wasn't really paying attention, and this guy sent out yet again another ball toy, which I completely forgot what happened with the last one, and it self-destructed again. And just like that, I lost Absol to a critical hit self-destruct, which was not something I really needed for the run, because Absol was actually starting to come together, and I was really thinking about using him as my Mega, but after that, I ended up meeting up with the gym leader and ended up turning the power back on, the power plant, because it apparently had gone out, and she ends up going back to the gym with her Electivire. Now, after that, I go ahead and challenge the gym, and I really don't have too much to go up against an electric type gym, so I just go ahead and decide, hey, let's Mega Evolve Charizard, and I had Mega Charizard X to my team, and yeah, I ended up just deciding, hey, Mega Charizard X is going to come through. So I'll go ahead, head over to Route 417 before I go ahead and take on the gym, decide to go ahead and get Mareep as my encounter, because yet again, another electric type, pretty nice, so go ahead and catch that, no problem. no problemo. Head back in the gym after I do a little bit of grinding my Pokemon just to make sure they're all high level. And I end up finding out this is the City of Light, and I'm going to see what this gym leader has to offer for a battle. So I go ahead, challenge him, obviously, and then out of nowhere, it just kind of, you know, I didn't really think that the battle would be too easy, but I didn't really think it'd be kind of this easy, and I had to kind of come up with a strategy to beat this man, because I really didn't have anything for electric type Pokemon. So at the time, I was really just trying to go in with Gloom here, obviously, because grass resists electric, and I was thinking, hey, that's the perfect thing to do. It even has Signal Beam, but wasn't going to do much because it was also a poison type, and just I had so much confusion with the paralysis, and just everything going on was super bad. Ampharos was like a terrifying lead. But then I ended up just using Mega Charizard here to take out his Mega Manectric, as well as his Electivire, thank God, because I got a crit there. And actually ended up almost taking out the Zipstrike in one hit, wasted a Hyper Potion on it, didn't take too much time. But then the Luxray was the biggest problem on his team that I really had to deal with. So I went ahead and used Toxic, ended up trying to use a Dustox type of, I guess you could say, strategy of Toxic, Protect, kind of weaken him down, and luckily enough that strategy worked, and I was actually able to beat him, which was really awesome. So after that, I moved over to Route 413, and yeah, I ended up moving right on past that to Mount Ice Storm, because there wasn't really anything else I could do there. I ended up getting a Snorunt as an encounter in Mount Ice Storm, which was really nice. Yet again, Ice type. Yet again, amazing Pokemon that I could put on the team if one of my mons dies. So I said, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and catch this thing. And then yeah, after that, I ended up finding that Team Steam is actually in here. And so I got to stop Team Steam yet again. This was something that I really wasn't prepared for to do. But hey, Team Steam is making trouble, so you got to stop him, right? And this is when this happened. So yeah, he sent out Gardevoir. I used Flamethrower on it, and my game crashed. I went and fought the first trainer again. And I thought, hey, this is going to be simple. And it's not going to take me too long. And so we sent out Kadabra, and I was thinking, hey, this is going to be easy yet again. Doesn't take me too long to beat these guys. I don't know why my game crashed the first time. You know, take out Kadabra, no problems. You know, just make a Charizard X looking nice. Already level 53's looking mighty fine. And he sent out Gardevoir again, and I'm like, okay, I can easily take this out just using Flamethrower. Why worry? Why worry about anything? And so I'm just like, okay, let's do it. Flamethrower. And then it crashes my game. So yeah, at this point, because I was using an emulator to run this game, that's just my run, because my game kept crashing. I couldn't get past that trainer. My game literally just kept crashing, and that was literally it. It just constantly kept crashing. So yeah, I gave up, because at this point I had already put in more than about 30 to 40 hours, and I just couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get anything to work. I couldn't do it on another emulator. I couldn't do it. I would have had to start the game over and completely redo the run. So I was done. I was a good 20, 30 hours probably into this run of just grinding and everything else, and hey, I'm done. And because I was able to get through most battles, the most challenging battle I had in it was obviously the electric type gym leader. It's just super hard gym leader right there. But other than that, the game was pretty easy. It was pretty formulaic. It didn't really have too much going for it, and it definitely didn't really have much that kept me interested in playing it. So after my game crashed, I decided, hey, this is definitely possible. I already know for a fact that this is 100% possible. It would not take me long at all, and I want to go back and I want to redo this run again. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, before I go ahead and go into the final summary of this video. Also, if you guys hit this video and this video can get 100 likes, I'm actually going to do the DS remake, because I'm really excited and want to try out the DS remake and see what's different in the DS remake, because it looks hecka different. But yeah. Also, before I go ahead and go on and talk about the main summary of the game, I also want to talk about some problems that I actually saw throughout the run that you guys should stay aware of, in case you don't have the problem that I have, where Gardevoir just keeps crashing the game. But that is obviously going to be you have to watch out for ball toys. Ball toys are a huge problem in this game. They self-destruct. So if you don't have a Mon of Protect or something like that, and you see a ball toy, switching them on, you're actually willing to lose, because self-destruct will almost one-shot anything. I don't even know if, even if you had a type resistance, I'm not even sure if you would still be able to live that. So definitely watch out for ball toy. But when it comes to leveling, just grind every now and then. There's nothing really too big about this game, and it doesn't force you to grind to be able to play through it. But definitely do grind. because it ends up, you know, helping you out a lot in the end anyway, so do that as well, but mostly just watch out for ball toys as well, and then the electric type gym leader is definitely really hard, so definitely watch out for him. So I'm going to move on to the final section that I have to talk about stuff in this video, and that is of course going to be the pros and the cons of this video, or of this ROM hack slash game. And that's obviously going to just be the list you guys see on screen here. So I'm going to go and start off with the pros. The pros are obviously going to be it has generations 1 through 5 Pokemon. So if you haven't used a lot of the Pokemon that have gone through generations 1 through 5, like any in between those, they're almost all here. Except for Gen 5. It is missing a couple of Gen 5 Pokemon that I've seen, so it's definitely worth it. Another really good pro of it is the rivals. Seeing all these different characters come back from past games as well as some other stuff, and just seeing how they interact with you throughout the game, it's just really cool. It's really nice just to see these rivals and everything go through. And just really just awesome to be able to interact with them in this game, especially since they have unique and new teams. So after that, another thing I gotta talk about for pros is visuals. The visuals for this game are obviously a Gen 4 style, but it's a Gen 4 style on a GBA platform. So you can play this on GBA emulator, GBA and whatever, and the visuals on it are just incredible. They really stack up. I definitely say a lot of the other stuff don't, but the visuals are definitely something you should definitely play this ROM hack for. They're really good. And then the last thing I'm going to go ahead and say for pros is going to be the legendary Pokemon. The legendary Pokemon were added into this game very well. The way they were added into the story, the way how they were worked into the story, and how Arceus comes down and kind of just stops all of them, really smart idea to do for a ROM hack. Really unique just way to use him instead of just using him on the Gen 4 thing, just keeping him within that trio. Use him for everything because he is God. He stops all these things. So it's really great just to see how he was used, and I really like it. So to go ahead and finish up the video here, we're going to go ahead and talk about the cons. Now, overall, the story for this game is pretty bad. I won't lie. It's rushed in a lot of areas, and I feel like a lot of the characters eventually end up becoming super annoying because they show up so often, but don't really do too much in the story to make them likable. It's just more of a nostalgia thing that comes through. That's where I go into the next point, which is the rivals. While I love the rivals representation in this game and how the fact that most of them like come back because they're the main protagonists of the older games, I don't think they're used too well here. I believe Red and Ash were used probably the best because they did the whole little Team Steam stuff, but other than that, the others were just they were just trainers who would battle you after every single gym battle because the game is so formulaic. It was just, you have a gym battle, you go battle a rival, you go battle like 2 or 3 rivals actually, and then you have another gym battle, and then you battle Team Steam, and then you go battle more rivals. Like, it was very formulaic, and it just didn't end up making it really enjoyable for me at all. So definitely the rivals were, well, also a pro, also a con that really hold this game down, and I really just wish they were probably given a little bit more time. A lot more time than the Evil Team, because I don't feel like the Evil Team is written very well. But yet again, Pokemon Evil Teams have never really been written well, so yeah. Another con is the gift Pokemon. They give you way too many static encounters in this game. I could see like getting a starter here and there, but no, I literally almost got up to all Gen 4 static encounters. Like generations 1 to 3, you could just pick between one of those starters, and I'm pretty sure if I kept going in the game, they probably would have ended up giving me a Gen 4 starter somewhere. So it was whatever. So way too many, as well as the extra ones that were just thrown there, like Growlithe, Miltank, Lapras, the Eevee egg, even though I got Eevee as an encounter. Just way too many. Really need to tone back on that 100%. And then the last thing I want to talk about, obviously for a con, is going to be Baltoy. They just self-destruct. I don't know whose idea it was to just make them be able to their only move was self-destruct. I didn't even know Baltoy learned self-destruct until I started doing this run. So that explains a lot about that. But yeah. That's going to go ahead and be my final summary for Pokemon Mega Light Platinum. I want to redo this game again. I do want to finish it, but I'm going to take a little while because this video already as is super long. And I know that you guys don't want to have to sit through all of this and be all the way through here. That's why I'm leaving the timestamps in the description. So I want to play through this game again, but maybe the next time I do it, it's going to be randomized. I'm thinking that might be the best idea because I can't actually randomize this. Because if you guys have not already seen it, I already have a random version of this game, or a first episode of a random version. Now, I'm not going to be continuing doing it, but yeah, I might end up doing a randomized version of this game because you can't randomize it. So yeah, if I end up doing that, that'll be really cool to do this game again because I feel like I would enjoy it more. But yeah, for right now, that's going to be all from me, guys. Hope you all really enjoyed the video. Remember, subscribe. Really trying to get to 500 before August. It means the world to me. And I will see you guys in the next Pokemon Nuzlocke video challenge that is going to be coming up because it's for a game that I really like. And I hope you guys Really like it as well. There's gonna be a hint at the end of the video, so yet again, stick all the way to the end to be able to see that. But yeah, so that's gonna be all from me, guys. Hopefully you all really enjoyed the video, and I get to see you guys on the next one. Peace.